So we left off talking about conflict management styles, and now we're going to move right into what I call the four horsemen. And it's really about um, ways that we communicate that are actually destructive in our relationships. And so let's take a look. This is Professor Brennan, by the way, with this is for my interpersonal communication class. Okay. The four horsemen, how conflict can become destructive for your relationships. Now, I always like to start by sharing that when I was in couples counseling with my ex-husband, this was actually given to us in terms of how we were communicating with each other in ways that we were communicating that wasn't helping us understand or get through conflict, because obviously most people go to counseling because they're having conflict and we weren't managing our conflict well. Our conflict would get out of control and it would become destructive for us. So not destructive, it means like we weren't hitting each other or anything like that, but it was definitely emotionally and mentally destructive in terms of the way we talk to each other and the way we would treat each other. So let's look at this, and what I mean by that's going to become more clear. So there's we call the four horsemen. We've got criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. Okay, and again, what we're talking about is the way we communicate with someone. So criticism is when we attack a person's character. Like, you're such an idiot. Why did you do that? Or, oh my God, are you like the stupidest person I ever met? Right? I just said some things that you might even heard yourself say before to someone that you cared about. Right? That's be something that maybe you said to your sister or brother. Hopefully not, but could have been. You always use you language. Are you like the stupidest person I've ever met? Are you like the stupidest person? Or you are a complete idiot. You're not saying, I really feel hurt by what you said. That's a whole different statement. Okay. But it's always you statements. So examples, the reason you lost that job is because you are a slob and you have no work ethic. That's a big put down. You keep complaining about your weight, maybe you should stop eating donuts and we're going to try some brand cereal. Okay, those are things I made up. They don't even have to be that long. But just think you statements, being critical, being evaluative. Think back to Gibbs' communication climate, right? What you learned last week. How we talk to each other, right? You're going to put someone on the defensive. You're going to put them, they're going to feel hurt. When we do that, it does not help. Defensiveness. What kind of defensiveness communication? Defensiveness is a reaction that aims to protect oneself by denying responsibility and counterattacking. It's like, it's not my fault. How is that my fault? You're the one who bought the car. I told you not to buy the car. If you didn't buy the car, the accident wouldn't have happened. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? But it's really about the aim is to protect oneself by denying responsibility and counterattacking, which I just did, right? People say dumb things like that. If you would wash the dishes when you put them in the sink, I might actually be able to get them clean. Okay? The one I like better is, I'm so glad we spent all that money for a washing machine or for a dishwasher when you always, when you consistently use the sink to wash the dishes. I'm so glad we wasted that money, right? That's going to make someone defensive. Another one is, I know how to drive the car. It's not my fault someone swerved in front of me and I didn't see them. That's a perfect one of like counterattacking, denying responsibility, right? I know how to drive. It's those other idiots out there that don't know how to drive. They're the ones that are causing all the problems, right? That's defensiveness. That's defensive communication. Now, how do you put that in, that attitude towards someone you care about, right? I'm not responsible for, I knew a couple that one person in the couple wanted to lose weight and the other person was constantly eating sugar. And yes, if you've ever lived with someone and you live alone with someone, you know that you share in meals. And it's really, if you are on a diet, it's really hard to be on a diet or lose weight if the other person doesn't go along with it, right? So one of the things that I would always hear from my friend is that her partner would just be like, it's your problem, would deny responsibility, any responsibility, when really it only put my friend on the defensive about that and was hurt. Okay, so defensiveness, we got criticism, defensiveness, moving along. Problems occur in communication when a person refuses to listen or even acknowledge the other person's points or concerns. That's what I just said, right? So my friend says to her partner, I'm really trying to lose weight. I really have a problem with sugar. Can we just have sugar out of the house? And her partner says, that's not my problem. That's your problem. Defensiveness. Okay. All right. Contempt. We know how. Have you ever had someone have contempt for you? Have you ever had contempt for another person? We do contempt non-verbally, verbally, in our attitude and our tone. Communication that demeans or belittles. Like, ew, that is so gross. Or, oh my God, you think you're going to be a chef? Right, that's contempt, like disgusting. Name calling, put downs, sarcastic barbs, like, my dad used to say this, and I don't think he meant contempt. It was just one of his sarcastic barbs. But you could say, like, someone says, you're making me crazy. And you say, well, it's not a long reach. Or you're making me go crazy. And you'd be like, well, it's a pretty short trip. Right? That's a sarcastic barb, which is meant to be like, you're such a jerk, I hate you. Or just to make the person feel small or belittled or put down. Name calling, when you use words like the B word, or when you tell someone to F off, that kind of stuff, that's contempt, right? When you're really trying to demean them, especially if you call a woman curse words that not resemble, but that are related to being female, or even a man, right? Curse words that are related to being a man. Not kind. Really, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get what you want. It's just going to increase and escalate and be destructive. It's going to escalate the communication, the conflict, and it's going to destroy the relationship. That's what we're looking at. Okay, can be nonverbal through eye contact or sign, like the rolling of the eyes. You make me sick. You're not really going to wear that, are you? Okay, all these are examples of that. Stonewalling. This is my favorite. I think people do this. They don't even know they're doing it. Occurs when one person in a relationship withdraws from interaction, shutting down dialogue at any chance of resolving the conflict that could be mutually satisfactory. I do this. If I get so mad, I shut down. That's what happens to me. I have become unwilling. Now, stonewalling, sometimes you have to do that in order to not say whatever you're feeling, to not hurt the other person if you're in conflict. But it means if that's your immediate reaction, you just shut down and you don't want to talk about it. You don't even allow for a chance to resolve the conflict. Maybe you want to pretend that it never happened. That's also destructive of the relationship. Why? You all know the answer, right? We just spent all this time talking about why avoidant lose-lose conflict management style is problematic for a relationship. You don't get to grow. You don't get to really know each other. You don't get to mend things. You don't get to repair. You don't even get to say you're sorry. You don't get to say, I love you, I never want to hurt you, right? That's what stonewalling, which is like an avoidant behavior. That's what that does. So stonewalling can be verbal and nonverbal. Stonewalling could be, sitting back you can probably see me, with your hands across your chest, like just staring off somewhere, not even making eye contact with the person. It can be like this, like get away from me. It can be stonewalling like that, or talk to the hand, looking away, right? It can be, stonewalling could be go F yourself and then just not say anything. Right? So that's how you can do stonewalling. All destructive behaviors don't help you in your relationship at all. Okay, so we covered criticism, contempt, stonewalling, and what was the other one? Defensiveness, the easiest one, right? All of those destructive ways to handle communication and relationship, not good ways. So let's look at what we can do. Or before that, I've got this 4 horsemen in conversation. Here's an example of criticism. You overdrew the account again. Can't you do anything right? Hey, don't blame me. You're the one who spends most of the money. Defensiveness. At least I have better math skills than a first grader. Way to go, Einstein. That's contempt. Whatever. Right? That sounds like you're if you have kids, your 13-year-old walking out your 13 or 12-year-old walking out of the room. All right. Solutions to productive communication during conflict. What does that look like? Well, we've talked about active listening. Y'all remember that? We talked about listening, active listening in communication, what that means. First thing you have to do is stop. You have to pause. You have to listen to what they say, right? Not just hear them, but listen to them. Then you say back to them, this is what I heard you say. And then you let that person say to you, yes, this is what I said, to either affirm or not affirm what they said. That's active listening, right? It slows the defensive process down. It can slow conflict down too. And you start to get out of the emotion and just getting into the verbal communication with that person. Use empathy. First of all, you got to care about the person. And remember, if you're having conflict with someone, you do care about them. Whether you choose to believe that or not, you do. Otherwise, it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't have conflict. So use empathy. Try to think about where they might be coming from, right? Why are they having this conflict? If you don't have the conflict, what's going on with them? What is that about? Choose the right time and place to have that discussion. There's not always, don't do it at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. If you got to get up at 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning, don't start having those conversations at night. In fact, even if you don't, having them at night, unless you work at night, is not good, because usually we're tired and we want to go to sleep, and that will just rile you up. Communicate with respect. What do I mean by that? I mean, show respect in the way. Make eye contact. Don't use curse words. Lower your volume. Consider the tone of your voice. Breathe, calm yourself down. What happens when you calm yourself down is then that person calms down with you. Use I statements. Describe the problem clearly. So talk about what exactly it is that you're bothered. Don't be vague. Specifically say what it is. Talk about yourself. Don't point fingers. Stay in the present. Don't bring up the past. Don't try to build your case, right? It doesn't matter what happened in the past. No one can do anything about the past. We're talking about the point of conflict that you're having right now. And I mean the past, like the way past. We're not talking about something that just happened 5 minutes ago, which becomes a past, because that's kind of a smart alecky answer. We mean something from the past. Okay. Focus only on relevant issues to the discussion, right? That's all you need to focus on. Don't focus on irrelevant things. Don't focus on his or her parents or things that have nothing to do with the conflict. Don't bring up that stuff. Just focus on what's bothering you. Okay? Keep it clean, keep it clear. And I'm telling you, there's a chance if you work these skills, you will have a chance at repair. But you have to also pick the right time and place, right? Do that. Okay, dudes, students, I'll see you soon. And this is it for me. Bye.